The cost of living is getting out of control. Prices in 2026 are like completely out of control. And I think what upsets me the most is the blatant, I think, greed from the companies and how open they are about it. At least back in the day, if the companies like wanted to be greedy, they like had to hide it. Do you know what I mean? And now it's just out in the open and it's just like almost normalized. And these companies are, breaking record profits every year. And I get it. Companies are allowed to make money. They're allowed to make as much money as they think that they want. But eventually there comes a breaking point because it's the consumers, it's the end consumers, me and you, that has to absorb those extra costs. And in a time in 2026 when everyone is trying to budget and save money here and there because, like I said, the cost of living is just out of control. Just the cost of living day to day to, you know, fill your car with petrol, buy groceries, pay your bills. If something breaks on your car, it's going to cost you thousands, and not everybody just has that lying around in their bank. Meanwhile, they cheapen the products that we buy. They try to manufacture it as cheap as possible, but sell it to us at an absolute premium. Which brings me on to my next topic, which is DoorDash and Uber Eats. And I will admit, during 2020, I was a massive user of Uber Eats and DoorDash because a lot of people during the 2020 lockdowns couldn't go anywhere and people still needed to eat. And Uber Eats and DoorDash and all those other delivery services were a convenient way to get food delivered to your house. No one's denying that. But now, in 6 years later, in 2026, the prices of Uber Eats and DoorDash is absolutely ridiculous. Everything from a burger that you buy is marked up. And then the fees on top of that at the end, like a service fee and a delivery fee, which I understand the delivery fee, but the service fee, I don't I don't understand the service fee, but okay. But even if you accepted those two fees, remember that they've also like marked up the price of the food itself. So for instance, if you go into McDonald's right now and you were to buy a cheeseburger, it might be like $4 something, which in of itself is disgustingly expensive for a cheeseburger. That is like actively getting smaller day by day. And then I want you to go and look at that same cheeseburger on Uber Eats and DoorDash and just see how expensive it truly is. It's like a markup of $2 or $3 extra, and that doesn't seem like much. But once you get to the end of the checkout and all these fees compound on top of each other, for instance, I could get a large quarter pounder meal delivered to me like right now for like $30 from Uber Eats, which is absolutely crazy. And by the time it gets to you, you know it's going to be cold. It's going to be like all mushy and disgusting, but you've paid like restaurant prices for it. And then on top of that, you got the whole company trying to push tipping culture. Like, I'm sorry, like I've stopped using Uber Eats and DoorDash because of that reason. It's not that I can't afford it. It's just out of principle. Like, when does it stop? Which brings me on to my next topic, food prices. If you go to the grocery shop, the grocery supermarket right now, or shop, whatever you want to call it, like look at the price of your favorite items right now and look at them within a year. And watch how like sneakingly these companies will put the price up slowly over time. And then if there's like a ounce of public backlash about it, they say, "Oh, it's due to this and due to that and due to this." And like, yeah, I get that, but like, how many times can you use that excuse before it's? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not denying that there's an element of that involved in the whole process, but like, these companies aren't even really absorbing that; they're just passing those costs straight on to us. And what gets me is that these companies expect a certain amount of sales per year. Okay, like this is what gets me, and they will actively put the prices up over and over and over again. And then when people need to make adjustments to their budget, a lot of the times it's like if people were to make adjustments to their grocery bill, the first things that usually go are, the luxury items like chocolates and sweets and all that. Let's say like these chocolate companies expect a certain amount of products to be sold every year, right? If they keep pricing it up and up and up and up and just over and over again, eventually they're going to be pricing out their own customers. And then so once they get the report back that they're not moving as much product, they need to recoup those losses. So they put their prices up again, which then further prices the existing customers out again. And it just becomes like this infinite like feedback loop where the companies need to make money and people aren't buying it. So they got to overcharge the people who are buying it. And in return, the prices move further and further up. And eventually, the people that were like just buying it just because they could afford it, even though it was pushing their budget, are now being priced out themselves. So then, when even less people are buying their products, they're going to price the stuff up even again, like even more again. So it's just ridiculous. Like, and I get it. There's the whole argument of the elastic pricing where it's like they need to find the sweet spot where they can move as much product as possible without affecting sales. And I get that. But once they get involved in that whole loop of pricing people out and trying to recuperate the money from the losses that people aren't bringing in, it just becomes a feedback loop. Do you see what I'm saying? And I think that's what like really annoys me. It's I see it all the time in these shops. Like that's fine. You can put your your chocolate bars at $8 a bar. That doesn't mean people are going to buy it, and that's fine. And because people aren't buying it, you still need to make money. You can put that back. You can put the bar up to $8.50 if you want. That's fine. You're just further illustrating the point that people shouldn't buy the product. 9 times out of 10, people won't. Do you see what I'm saying? It just becomes an infinite feedback loop, and it frustrates me to no end. And then petrol prices. Like I remember not that long ago, like $1.60, $1.70 was pretty much the norm, and even back in the day, like 10 years back, that was considered overpriced petrol. And now $1.50, $1.60, $1.70 is considered normal range for petrol. The last time I went out to the petrol station, petrol prices were $2.30. So now it feels like $2 is becoming the new normal. It's just crazy. And especially here in Australia, everything is like basically imported. So like there's import taxes on everything. And guess what? They pass those taxes on to us, no doubt. No doubt. It reminds me of that thing like with, let's say, for instance, you buy something online and it seems like incredibly cheap. But then you get to the checkout and the delivery is like $30. People won't buy it because they're like, I'm not paying $30 for delivery. But then if they take that same $30 and just put that on the original price of the product, and then on checkout just say that there's no delivery fee, a lot of people will buy it because they're like, oh well, I'm getting free delivery. But really, you're not, because the price is included in the price is included in the product itself. They've just moved the money from delivery fee just to the total. So like it just feels like everywhere we go these days we're getting scams. And I'm like not sure what else to do really. It's like you can't escape it. And then you have Netflix as well. Like don't even get me started on Netflix. I used to love Netflix back in the day when they had all the good movies and everything like that. Then they started putting up their prices. Like actually their prices like were already kind of a little bit, okay, like this is where the prices are right now is fine. And I mean like back when it was like $9 or under $9 or something. You know what I mean? Now you're pushing it with like whatever it's at now. It must be at least like $20 a month now, which is crazy. And then don't forget, they're also removing a lot of these like high quality movies and stuff like that probably made you want to subscribe to Netflix in the first place. And then they're filling the catalog of movies in Netflix with a lot of B grade movies that 9 times out of 10 you're probably not going to watch. And if you do watch, you're not even going to like it. So like it really irritates me, the state of the world and the cost of living and just the price of everything just getting out of control. And then you got appliances as well. Like appliances, for instance, like if you buy a new washing machine, like realistically, how long do you expect that washing machine to last? Like realistically, if you go to a shop and you buy a brand new washing machine in 2026, and you pay $400, $500, $600 for a washing machine, you buy a good brand. In your mind, realistically, how long do you expect that to last? If you had to put a number on it, what number would you put? Let me know in the comments. What number would you put on a washing machine these days, if you bought one, how long would you expect it to last? And 99% of the time, it's half of that. And that's not if something goes wrong within the first year. And don't even get me started on the whole paying someone to come out and fix it or stuff like that. A lot of these times, these companies that sell warranty is like really, really expensive. And sometimes when these things break, they're just not worth replacing. It's actually cheaper to buy a new one. So now that old washing machine that's just broke ends up in the landfill. It's just crazy. It's like we've become such a disposable civilization. Like things used to be built really good and like with really good quality stuff that would last. And now with the normalization of these cheaper services and like Timu and stuff like that, like it's just promoting this, I feel like this culture of just disposability where everything is just disposed when it's no longer useful. Nothing's worth repairing these days. Nothing's worth really taking the time to learn how to repair something that you bought off Temu. It's not really worth it, is it? No, you're better off throwing it out and buying it again. And I think, over time, I have noticed, especially when I buy things, I'm actually more excited to know that something is on the way to my house more so than I am once I get it like physically in my hand. And I don't know if that's just me. Let me know if that's you. But just knowing that, oh, today I bought a new keyboard and it's on its way is more exciting than when I actually get the keyboard. And I feel like because once I get the keyboard, it's like I'm expecting things to be wrong with it, which also brings me onto another subject of a lot of these things that are overpriced, you get them and they feel like they're not even worth half of the price of what you paid for. Like they're loose, they're like really cheap filling plastic. I'll give you an example. I bought a keyboard off Amazon maybe 2 months ago. I spent about $95 Australian dollars on a brand new keyboard. I forget the brand of it, but it looked really good. It looked really solid in the photos, like really good quality. Had everything that I needed. Um, I purchased it, and I was so excited for it to come because I was like, wow, this is really going to be a good keyboard. And once I got it, the keys felt really like not stable on the Switch. Like they felt like they would just like fall off. The the keyboard itself felt real cheap, real hollow. Like it wasn't there was no materials that made it stronger. Like it was just so prone to be able to like twist and flex and bend and creak if you like even so much as just twist it a little bit. And it's just crazy that like we've accepted this as our new reality, that like this is just the way that we do things now, is that we buy things really without seeing them, and then once we get them, they there's always like quality control issues where someone who was assembling it didn't do it properly, and like then you got to go through the warranty, and it's crazy. Like it's just getting crazy. And like everyone is just really trying to save money these days, and I don't blame them. Like it is just getting out of control, and like I don't see it stopping anytime soon. I think it just has to keep on going and going and going, and eventually something has to give. And that's the thing. I don't know what has to give, and I don't want to be one of these old man yells at clouds type of people, but like it's just getting frustrating just to even like just live day to day life because of everything that you're buying and the price of everything. It's like it doesn't seem to be slowing down, and also the wages. People are saying a lot of the times their wages aren't keeping up with the cost of living, with inflation, and inflation is just going to keep going up and up and up and up and up. And I remember back in my day, I say that as if I'm like 60 years old. I remember back in my day, I used to go to the corner shops where I used to live, and I used to buy chips, like hot chips with chicken salt. And the old lady that used to sell me the chips would give you a massive bunch of chips for $2. Like $2 would get you a massive bag of chips that you could just eat for the whole day. Now, if you go to a takeaway shop and you buy some chips, $2 won't get you nothing. $2 won't even get you looked at by the cashier. And then you got to pay like $7.50 or like $7 for like a small little box of chips. And 9 times out of 10, those chips are the same chips that every takeaway shop sells. It's like they all taste the same. It's like they're all using the same person who makes chips. It's just getting crazy, guys. I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like it felt like something broke in 2020 where everything has just become a circus and everyone's just getting scammed. Like you really kind of have to keep your head on a swivel these days and really like research, and like that's the thing, you never really had to research what you were buying back in the day. Like sure, like people still would have been doing that just because, but like now you have to, because even things or items or products that have good names behind them and a good reputation are getting worse as well. Like in Australia, everybody knows about a Toyota Corolla, like the old Toyota 2000 Corollas and all that. And even in the 90s, the Corollas, they're indestructible. Like I've seen them on the road still going to this day in 2026. A Toyota Corolla from like the year 2000 is still on the road and still going and still drives great in 2026. That is crazy. Now these new cars are falling apart. Everything's just breaking in these cars like with under a year. They're using cheaper plastics. The cars don't feel nice to drive. They feel so hollow. You know, I know they've got all like the new fancy features and all that, but like really, it doesn't really matter because like they just feel soulless. And I had a Japanese car. I had a Nissan for my first car, and do you know what? That thing never let me down. Like I didn't have to do much to it at all, and it just lasted me for a very long time. And I learned to drive on that. I had like accidents in that. I like hit the curb that many times in that. I did all these things that like a first person, a first, uh, your first car, like a person will do to it. And like it's just, I know I'm probably ranting, but man, like it's just it's so stressful. It just is so stressful these days. I don't know what else we're supposed to do. Let me know what you guys think, but man, it's just getting ridiculous. Everything's just like a game. That's what I'm saying. As soon as you walk out your door these days, everything that you do feels like a gamble, and you have to keep your head on a swivel everywhere you go because companies are trying to like take your money, and then the products that you buy aren't, I heard a story last week that people were buying meat from the supermarket and they're buying half a kilo of meat and they're getting 400 grams. So they're getting scammed out of like 100 grams of meat, and realize that they're also paying a premium for that meat because meat is just generally expensive. And so the companies trying to save money will literally just take a bit of the meat out of the package and still sell that as though it's the correct weight. That is crazy. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to have a rant. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you feel the same, about the cost of living. Prices are just getting out of control. Everything feels like a scam. And it just feels like this all started after 2020. It's like after 2020, these companies just got the green light to start doing all like the scummiest practices to their own customers as possible. And one more thing before I go. Have you noticed that we're no longer customers? We're called consumers. Yeah. Like customers in of itself, when you listen to the word, has a bit of integrity behind it. Has a bit of status about it. Like I'm a customer of this company. If you just say I'm a consumer, it just sounds degrading. Degrading or degrading, I don't know. I can't even speak. It's so early in the morning. But do you know what I mean? We used to be called customers. Now we're just consumers. You will consume our product. Rather than being a customer of our product, a loyal customer of our product, you are a annoying consumer of our product. That's just what it feels like uh in this state of the world in 2026. We are no longer the customers where they aim to make us happy and all that. We are the annoying consumers that they hate, that they try to price out of their own products. And every time there's so much as an ounce of strain on the system, we are the ones who have to pick up the pieces for them by paying extra prices at the checkout. So that's my rant for the day, guys. I really hope things get better soon, because I know a lot of people are stressing at the moment, but I don't have the confidence that things are going to go back to how they used to be. I've felt it for a very long time. I feel like we are in a new age where everything is just incredibly, incredibly bad and getting worse by the day. Everything from services to products, appliances to cars to the food that we eat, everything just seems to be getting worse. So, but anyway, guys, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. Consider checking out my other videos, guys. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.